Hey everybody, I'm Drew. Welcome back to the channel. The 2026 Baseball Card Hall of Fame voting is now open, and I'd like to thank Ray from Philly for having me on the other night with Stuke and Orlando from A Collector's Dream and Dave from Legends of the Dugout. We had a great time discussing our votes, and I thought I would go over my votes here again today in this video. Now I'm going to show you the cards that are eligible to be voted on here in a few moments. But before I do, I had a question for the viewers. When you're voting for this card, do you vote on the player? Do you vote on the design? Is it a combination of the two? Does the player on the card have to be a Hall of Famer? I think those are all great questions, and I'm kind of wondering what you guys are basing your vote on. So with that, let me bring up the pre-war ballot. Okay, the pre-war ballot. Here we go. So we have some old Judge cards here. I don't own a black and white TV, and I don't like watching shows on black and white, and I don't like black and white cards. So I didn't vote for either one of these two. So if you scroll down, and I should mention this is really easy to vote on. All you got to do is click the box, scroll all the way down, and hit submit. So, and I've already voted, of course. So moving on to the next two, we have Shoeless Joe Jackson. I just don't care for the image. There's just something peculiar about his face that I can't seem to overcome. The T206 Tris speaker, I love the blue. It's dynamic, love it. But I did not vote for any T206 cards because there are plenty of them in the Hall of Fame already. So with that, and with all due respect to Maggie, Doyle, Joss, and Mathewson, I didn't vote for any of these, and Mordecai Brown, of course. So the first card I did vote for was a Turkey Red. I did not vote for Ty Cobb, but I did vote for Sam Crawford. He's the all-time leader in triples in Major League Baseball history. And I don't know that Sam Crawford gets enough credit, so I voted for him. I love the backgrounds. It goes from yellow to gold to brown to green. And it looks like he's just, having a casual catch, maybe right before sunset. Now, we only had 5 votes, and part of me wishes I had voted for this next card here with Ty Cobb. This is a very iconic image here in the middle, very iconic picture in the middle. And had I had more votes, I definitely would have voted for that card. Moving on, Grover Cleveland Alexander, Cracker Jack is another card that I voted for. And he's another player that I don't think gets enough credit. When you start talking about the greatest pitchers of all time, usually Grover Cleveland Alexander doesn't come up in that conversation. 373 wins, which tied him third for all time. Ronald Reagan played him in, I believe the movie was called The Winning. And so I did vote for Grover Cleveland Alexander. I did not vote for Walter Johnson. And I did not vote for Eddie Collins. And as I said on Ray's channel, Eddie Collins has a look on his face like somebody ran over his dog. I don't know, just not a good picture. With all due respect to exhibit cards, which I respect, and of course to Stuke, it's black and white. Sorry, don't care for it. I didn't care for this Honus Wagner either. I did like the Dizzy Dean here, the 1933 Gowdy Dizzy Dean, but I kind of had the 33 Gowdy Lefty Grove in mind. I love the dark green here, the trees in the background. I don't know, maybe it's a spring training game or practice. I liked it. I did not vote for the Rogers Hornsby 1933 Gowdy, but I wish I had. I love this card. I love this image. I love the guy in the background here. Yeah, with only 5 votes, I don't know. Yeah, this one here is one that I definitely would have voted for. The 1933 Gowdy Carl Hubble. I don't care for the image. It looks like he's in a bar, leaning back against the counter, watching the boys play pool, and he's just not interested. I don't know, just don't care for it. I did vote for the 33 Gowdy Al Simmons. I like the full body shot here. And, Al Simmons had a great career, and I think that played a part in my voting. I don't know that he gets enough respect. Absolutely love the 34 Diamond Stars Jimmy Fox. I think it's a great card, great image. I love catcher cards. He's not known as a catcher, and I think maybe that's why, maybe that's why it makes it a little bit more special for me. And I did not vote for the Diamond Stars Mel Ott or the Pee Wee Reese card. So now we move on to the post-war ballot, and I'm going to bring that up here real quick. So give me just a moment. All right, here we go. Okay, so in a few moments, I'm actually going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you some of the cards that I voted for, because I have a few of these in my PC. Jackie Robinson is one of my favorite players, and with all due respect to him, I couldn't vote for this card. Why? It's black and white. I did not vote for Joe DiMaggio. The 1949 Bowman cards, I don't like them. I don't like the design. I don't know why they couldn't give Campanella Brooklyn B on his hat. You know, over here they've got Duke Snyder's name. They couldn't do that for Campanella. I don't know. The background's just plain. Just don't have any interest. And the colors seem drab as well. Josh Gibson, well, there's an iconic card. It's a really rare card. And I think voting for rare cards is great, but there comes a threshold in which it's so rare that it's just unreasonable. And that's where I'm at with the Josh Gibson card. There aren't very many copies of it. Doesn't really make it very attainable. So I just didn't vote for it. Don't care for the Whitey Ford card here either. And so my first vote went to Willie Mays, 1953 Topps. I love the set. And before I talk about my next vote, one thing that I think that really matters is the back of the cards. The back of the cards meant a ton to me when I was a kid. I read the cartoons. I read the stats. I wanted to know how tall he was. I wanted to know where he was from. I wanted all that information. And so the backs matter. The backs matter. And that's not something I hear a lot of people talk about. And I did a video not so long ago with Ray from Philly and a few other folks. And we talked about the backs. We rated the backs of the cards from the 50s to 60s and the 70s, and had a good time doing it. And so, you know, moving on here, the 1955 Topps Harmon Killebrew, I voted for that. And it has a great looking back. And again, that matters. 57 Topps is not one of my favorite designs, but it has a great back. And so I voted for the Big Clue. Did not vote for Roger Maris, Willie McCovey, or Steve Carlton, who had a great career. I voted for the 3D Roberto Clemente because I think it was the gateway card to Kellogg's making their cards back in the 70s and 80s. It's really what got me into collecting cards was the Kellogg's cards. They were vibrant. It's what helped me decide that the Oakland A's were going to be my team. And so, you know, Roberto Clemente never has a bad image. I think this is a great card. And then we have Tom Seaver's 1968 card, and I voted for that. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes when I flip the camera around as to why I voted for that. Bert Blyleven, I like the card, just didn't have enough votes. Carlton Fisk, I don't know, 3 players on a card, probably too much for me. There's nothing that just pops out for me on that card. Cal Ripken is well, that's a minor league card, so I didn't vote for that. Now, why O-Pee-Chee got a card in and not the Topps 1983 Tony Gwynn, I don't know, but didn't vote for that. Roger Clemens, didn't vote for that, or Barry Bonds, or Greg Maddux. I'm a big fan of Frank Thomas, but I don't know what it is about this card. I just didn't care for the picture. Michael Jordan, I'm sure that's going to get some votes. Great looking card. I've got a few of those. I remember when they came out, there was fun chasing those. The 92 Bowman Mariano Rivera, probably the worst rookie card ever made. Worst card ever made. It looks like I don't know, it looks like a high school graduation picture at the mall. I don't, you know, my buddy Keith over there and down there in the lonely basement, he'll probably vote for it. He can't see through the pinstripes. I give him a hard time all the time about that stuff. No offense, Keith, just busting your chops. And then Ken Griffey, the refractor, didn't vote for that. I did not vote for Ichiro and Pujols. Maybe down the road. You know, some of these cards I might vote for down the road, but I'd like to see some of the older cards get in first. So with that was my post-war ballot. All right, so that was my post-war ballot. I'm going to flip the camera around here real quick and show you a few of the cards that I do have, and also explain why I voted for the 1968 Tom Seaver. And before I forget, I think the ballot closes on May 14th. So as Ray would say, have fun with it. All right, flipping the camera around here. Okay, so the cards I voted for post-war are, and I don't have the 1968 Roberto Clemente. I wish I did, but I think that's out of my reach. So I'm going to show you the other cards. And the first one is this Willie Mays from 1953. So I'm happy to have that in my collection. And again, I think it's a wonderful card of Willie Mays. In fact, I think it's probably my favorite. We have Harmon Killebrew's 1955 card here. And as I mentioned, the backs are important, and I think this has a great back. It's easy to read, and has the cartoon and some good information. And then the 1957 Big Clue, which I think has also a great back. And now here's where it gets awkward. The 1968 Tom Seaver. Why did I vote for that? Well, it's because I got this in the mail here, and it says, vote for Tom Seaver or I will make sure your corn won't grow. That's a little scary, and I don't know who it came from. It's got some stationery on it. If anybody can help me with any of this information at all, I'd really appreciate it. In fact, if you do have any information, please reach out to the Card Farmers Bureau of Investigations. That's a CFBI. And it's interesting because I was just watching a video tonight of Dylan out there in Hawaii, and he got one of these menacing letters. So we got to get this figured out and get a report back to our hobby president, John Mangini. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Get out there and vote. May 14th is the deadline. So thanks for tuning in. Keep growing your collection, card farmers.